Hey, hey! We are back reading The Science of Getting Rich Remixed by Misty Baron, read to you by the author. Chapter 15, The Advancing Person. Wattles called it the advancing man. We'll update that, the advancing person. Because this principle is not gendered. It belongs to anyone willing to live it. The essence is simple. When people are around you, do they feel heavier or lighter? Depleted or richer? The advancing person leaves a trail of growth, joy, and possibility wherever they go. This doesn't mean they're perfect, saintly, or endlessly on. It means they radiate authenticity. They show up as themselves, quirks, laughter, scars, sparkle, and all. And somehow the people around them feel more alive because of it. Joy as wealth. Work isn't only about output. It's about overflow. Your reputation doesn't just come from invoices and contracts. It comes from how you make people feel. A paycheck may open a door, but legacy keeps it open. I didn't set out to be anyone's guru. After illness, injury, and loss, I just wanted to learn how to be happy. That led me to laughter yoga, women's circles, belly dancing, Toastmasters. Places where I could drop the mask and laugh, wobble, play, and cry. Over time, those communities became mirrors. Women told me, because of you, I laugh more, I love more, I support others more. I notice small things like fresh carpet in a workplace, and I appreciate them as wealth. Another said, your organization and leadership helped me step into my own. Still another, you push through pain with joy. That's what inspires me. That's legacy. Not just how much money is in your account, but how much more alive the people around you become because you showed up. And here's the kicker. That legacy loops back into material wealth, too. People hire, recommend, and stick with the ones who advance them. Too big for your place. Wattles made this crystal clear. Every person, in every role, can be an advancing person. The physician who believes in abundance and health will heal more than one who dwells in disease. The teacher who inspires children with vision will never be out of work. The preacher who lives faith instead of fear will always have a congregation. Even the wage earner on the factory floor or behind a cash register is not trapped. If they do their work in a certain way, they grow too big for their place, and a larger place opens. That's why he said, when you become too big for your place, the universe must promote you. It's as sure as gravity. Employers, clients, even strangers will sense that you are no longer ordinary. People instinctively gravitate to the advancing person because everyone is seeking increase. A waterfall lesson. I've lived this in unexpected ways. While on a job assignment with my subcontractors, who are also my friends and family, we took a day to hike to some beautiful waterfalls. As we were leaving, one of them realized her phone had fallen out of her pocket. Panic set in, and several of the crew immediately turned back to search. One of them asked if I was going to climb back up and help. Without missing a beat, I said, I'm not that good of a friend. We all burst out laughing because the truth was obvious. Days earlier, I had taken a bad fall in a hardware store. Later, I would learn I'd actually fractured a vertebrae in my lower back. My body was in no shape to scramble up cliffs. But everyone there knew the truth behind the joke. I'm always the first to help. If she hadn't found that phone, I would have bought her a new one on the spot. That's the paradox of the advancing person. You don't advance people by pretending to be superhuman. You advance them by showing up as you are, generous, joyful, and, when needed, funny enough to break tension. That moment reminded all of us of the deeper truth. The advancing person doesn't advance others by pretending to be superhuman. You advance them by showing up authentically, generous when you can be, honest when you can't, and joyful even in limitations. My joke diffused panic and reminded everyone, we take care of each other one way or another. That's increase. The diminishing person. And here's the contrast. You've met the opposite of the advancing person, the one who drains the room, the boss who criticizes but never builds up, the coworker who gossips but never contributes, the friend who keeps a tally of favors owed but never offers a hand. Wattles would call this a shrinking life, a refusal to overflow. Spend enough time around such a person and you feel it. Joy shrinks, vision dims, hope leaks out. Their presence is poverty, and just as people instinctively flock to the advancing person, they instinctively flee the diminishing one. No one wants to follow a leader who leaves them emptier than before. That's why the law cuts both ways. Advance life and doors open. Diminish it and doors close. Wisdom across traditions. Every tradition affirms this law in its own way. Jesus said, "You will know them by their fruits." The Bhagavad Gita counsels, act without ego in service. The Quran praises those who bring increase through generosity. The Talmud reminds us that whoever saves one life, it is as if they saved the entire world. The message is clear. Advancement is divine currency. When you bless a meal, laugh in hardship, or transform complaint into gratitude, you radiate advancement. People may not name it, but they feel it, and they want more. That's why they return. That's why doors open. That's why reputations spread faster than wildfire in a drought. Modern proof. Hamdi Ulukaya was a Turkish immigrant who bought a failing yogurt factory in New York. No corporate strategy, just a belief that he could create something better. Chobani wasn't just yogurt, it was dignity, health, and opportunity. He gave employees stock, invested in farmers, and hired refugees when others wouldn't. Today he's a billionaire, but his true wealth is measured in the thousands of people whose life he advanced. Maggie Doyne was an 18-year-old backpacker who met children orphaned by war in Nepal. Most people would send a donation and fly home. She stayed. She built a school, a women's center, a children's home. Today, her Blink Now Foundation educates hundreds, empowering women with jobs and restores dignity to entire communities. She advanced life, and life advanced her. Now contrast this with the countless talented people who had everything, skills, opportunities, resources, but withheld their overflow. The executive who hoards credit, the artist who guards secrets instead of teaching, the wealthy heir who lives large but leaves nothing larger than themselves. They may accumulate money, but they never accumulate legacy. People forget them the moment they leave the room. Ulukaya and Doyne prove what Wattles taught. Those who advance others become unforgettable. Those who diminish others become irrelevant. Legacy equals wealth. The advancing person builds wealth in invisible ways: joy, trust, laughter, reputation. And those invisible deposits cash out in visible ways: million-dollar clients, loyal teams, coincidental opportunities at the exact right moment. Here's the truth. People help you get rich, not in a transactional sense, but in a relational one. When you advance them, they advance you. Legacy and wealth are not separate. They are one. What to do next? Audit your impact. At the end of today, ask, did the people I encountered feel richer or poorer for meeting me? Bring joy to the table. Infuse laughter, gratitude, or blessing into one ordinary interaction. Watch the ripple. Step into community. This month, attend one gathering where people are growing together. A book club, mastermind, service group, or creative circle. If none exists, start one. Invite 3 people to meet once. Advancement multiplies faster when it's shared, and community is the amplifier. Spark query. Why is it that every time I show up with joy, authenticity, and service, everyone I meet advances with me, and so do I? Thanks for hanging out with me. See you next week for the next chapter of The Science of Getting Rich Remixed by Misty Baron, available on Amazon. Hey, if you like this chapter, would you please like, subscribe, share with all your friends? They need to know how to get rich too. Sharing is caring.